Hi there, it's Faisal here, and let's do some predictions for this Sunday's AEW pay-per-view, Double or Nothing. First match, not a hard prediction. Hookhausen are going to easily beat Tony Nese and Smart Mark Sterling. I think it's going to be a really good match. I think it's going to be very fun. Hook is going to be Hook. Danhausen will have a chance to really show us what this Danhausen stuff is about. Smart Mark Sterling, I think, is going to really be quite amusing, and of course it'll be very satisfying to see him tossed around by Hook, put in some submissions, everything like that. And I think Tony Nese will at least keep things from getting too ridiculous. So it's going to be a great pre-show match, and Hook and Danhausen absolutely going to go over. Then you've got Jade Cargill versus Anna Jay. Meh. Is there a weaker match on this card? I don't think there is. It's listed first on the Wikipedia page, but I would be shocked, absolutely shocked, if this were actually the first match. Probably Young Bucks versus the Hardys would take that slot, and this match is probably going to be put in after a match like that, after a barn burner, to give the crowd and the people at home time to cool down. Obviously, I think Jade is going to retain. Anna Jay sort of just was thrown out there to be a person for Jade to beat in this next pay-per-view, get Jade on the pay-per-view and all of that, and, well, she's going to serve her purpose, isn't she? Samoa Joe versus Adam Cole, two old NXT guys getting ready to fight in the Owen Hart Cup tournament. I have to say, both genders of the Owen Hart Cup tournament have sort of let me down. I haven't been impressed very much with the way the tournament has gone. Don't get me wrong, there's been some pretty cool matches in there. You know, Darby versus Jeff Hardy, of course, was really great, right? But in the end, I'm not that excited for this thing. That being said, I expect this one to be a really good match as well. Who's going to win it? This is a bit of a tough one. I could see this one go either way, but if I had to guess, I would lean towards Adam Cole. He's just fresh off of a big loss with his title run. I don't think Joe particularly needs the win. He's still got his television title, and he's already got a feud going with Jay Lethal and, the big Indian guy. What was that guy's name? Satnam Singh. That's what it is. Satnam Singh, right? So I expect Samoa Joe to be shunted into a feud like that, and I think they'll want to keep Adam Cole nice and strong. The big split between Adam Cole, the Fish and O'Reilly, and the Bucks and Kenny Omega is going to come. When is it going to come? I don't know. It all depends on when this man, Kenny Omega, is going to get healthy. We don't know when that's going to happen, but it is going to happen. And at that point, you want Adam Cole to be as strong as possible, because he's going to be having singles matches with Kenny Omega. And, you can't just be anyone and have a singles match with Kenny Omega. So it's in everyone's best interest to keep Adam Cole as strong as possible, and that means him winning the Owen Hart Cup. Britt Baker versus Ruby Soho or Chris Statlander for the Owen Hart Cup Women's Tournament Finals. First of all, Ruby Soho is going to be facing Britt Baker on Sunday. I haven't read the Rampage spoilers, but let's be real, guys. I mean, it's Chris Statlander was inserted into this thing because Shida apparently had visa issues. And does anyone particularly want to see Chris Statlander facing Britt Baker? They've recently sort of turned Chris back into a babyface, but it hasn't really been explained, and it certainly hasn't really stuck. So I think it's going to be a pretty clear Ruby Soho babyface versus Britt Baker heel match, and I fully expect Ruby Soho to go over. Again, Britt Baker just had a big championship run. She's still the biggest women's star, and has no need for the Owen Hart Women's Cup victory. Whereas Ruby Soho, well, she might be going places. I don't particularly know where, right? Maybe she's going to get a women's championship match sometime in the near future. I'm not 100% sure. But certainly we can see that she would benefit a whole lot more from winning there. In terms of the match itself, honestly, I don't expect this match to be particularly good. Maybe it'll be okay, kind of, sort of. Britt Baker is very hit and miss, right? You know, when she isn't bleeding all over the place, I don't think her matches are particularly memorable. Ruby Soho is a wrestler, right? You know, she's not someone who's really impressed me a whole lot either. And honestly, once again, this whole Owens Hearts Cup has really just not really blown my socks off whatsoever, right? I think the most memorable thing from the Owen Hart's Women's Cup was, of course, Maki Ito, and then everything else has been just a match. Thunder Rosa versus Serena Deeb. This one, another one that's sort of hard to call, but for maybe not altogether great reasons. I mean, Thunder Rosa has had a bit of a rough go of it over the course of her championship reign, short as it's been, right? Her promos against Serena Deeb were sort of meandering and weird, and, you know, they didn't really gel very well. They were talking over each other, so I don't think anyone's really particularly excited for this match, but, you know, that's maybe not altogether fair. They have tried to clean it up over the last few weeks. They had Serena Deeb come out last week and do that Fury promo about, you know, being forced to get a boob job to impress Vince McMahon and all of that stuff, and I thought that was really good. Today's promo about Thunder Rosa, you know, wanting to fight, it was okay. It showed some fire. I don't think it was particularly objectionable. So this match, I don't know. I feel that Serena Deeb would be a stronger champion. She would be a better champion. She would cut better promos, all of that sort of stuff. But if Rosa loses here, I feel it would be sort of like labeling her a bit of a failure. It would feel like them being like, oh, she kind of messed up her promos, and she's not really working as a champion, so we're just going to abandon her and kick her to the curb. So I honestly don't want Rosa to lose here for that reason, because I don't think she deserves that kind of treatment, and I think she'd really be harmed significantly if she were to be, you know, defeated so easily and early in her title reign. The match itself, I expect, will be, you know, pretty good. I expect a solid match. Serena Deeb is great. Thunder Rosa is great. I don't think the crowd is going to be incredibly interested in it, but you never know, right? Thunder Rosa does often surprise you with the reactions that she gets, and so, yeah, I think it'll be a solid match, and that in the end, Thunder Rosa will come out on top and continue her reign as Women's Champion. Side note, I do think that after this match, someone should come out and challenge Thunder Rosa. Or Serena Deeb, if Serena Deeb does indeed win. Because the women's field needs a bit more spice, and I think this would be a great time to bring someone in to issue a challenge and get the ball rolling. I guess it could be Shida if Shida's back, but honestly, I would be very happy with Mei Suruga or someone else, someone exciting from the outside, to come in and make that challenge. If there's a big signing, maybe some ex-WWE person, Athena, or whatever, this would be the time. Tag team match. Keith Lee, Swerve Strickland versus Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus versus Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks. So, first things first, I am 100% sure, 100% sure, that Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus are not going to win. No matter what happens, whether it's Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland or Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks, what I'm expecting is for those two to lose. They lose their title, and then, at long last, you're going to have Christian Cage go up to Jungle Boy and do his heel turn. They've teased it quite a bit over the last couple of weeks, and I think it's time. So Jungle Boy is going to be feuding with Christian Cage after this pay-per-view, and he's going to probably have some really good matches with him. But in terms of this match, those two are not winning. I would stake my reputation on it. As for who is going to win, this is a bit of a tough one. I could definitely see either Keith Lee and Swerve or Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks taking it. but if I were to make a pick, it would probably be Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks. I feel that they could do more with it. They would be interesting heel champions, and there are plenty of feuds set up for them. Obviously, they could keep feuding with Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland, but there are a bunch of babyface tag teams that are ready to go. Most notably FTR, who I am expecting to be trying for some kind of we have all the belts storyline when they have the ROH tag team titles, the IWGP heavyweight tag team championships, and of course the AAA championships, and then they try to add the AEW tag team championships to that as well. So them fusing with Hobbs and Starks, I think, would be a solid way to do that and would keep the scene nice and interesting. That said, if they do go in the Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland direction, right, you've got the Bucks, you've got Fish and O'Reilly, you've got all that stuff, and they could easily be feuding there as well. So, ultimately, it's a hard one to call. I could see it going to either of those two teams, but if you put a gun to my head, Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks are going to be your new AEW World Tag Team Champions. Then you have Anarchy in the Arena, Jericho Appreciation Society versus Mox, Danielson, Santana, Ortiz, and Eddie Kingston. So, I'm a bit unclear on what Anarchy in the Arena is going to be. Is it going to be a street fight, and all of that stuff, or is it something else entirely? If I had to guess, I think this is supposed to be a sort of live-action version of the Stadium Stampede, right? Where they're going to be going all around the arena, maybe out into, the concession stands and all over the place, and doing, the Stadium Stampede stuff, except they're going to be doing it in front of a live crowd. So I think that's what they're going to be going for here. And I expect this match to be probably the most entertaining match on the card. I love Eddie Kingston, I love Jon Moxley, and the Stadium Stampede matches have been great, right? Especially the first one. So I expect something really wild, crazy, and fun, right? So this is going to be good stuff here. But nevertheless, you don't do this kind of match to let the Jericho Appreciation Society win. Obviously, the good guys are going to win here. Jon Moxley, Bryan Danielson, Santana Ortiz, and Eddie Kingston are going to take out Jericho. I wonder who would get the final pin, right? In fact, is this an elimination match? Because the Stadium Stampede matches were elimination, weren't they? Kind of? I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'd have to go back and watch them. But, who will get the final pin? I think Eddie Kingston will, because everyone loves Eddie Kingston, and he deserves every bit of love that he gets. So maybe he won't pin Jericho again right here and then, because I don't think this match will be the end of this feud. I think we're going to get another match between Jericho and Eddie Kingston before the end of the year. So I would expect that to happen. But certainly, I expect this match to be wild and for the good guys to win. Side note, I do think that Anarchy in the Arena match is probably the perfect slot to fit in some Forbidden Door stuff. You know what? I'm going to go out on the limb and make a bit of a prediction here. There's one man who has a bit of a grievance against Jon Moxley, certainly has something against Bryan Danielson, and probably doesn't care for Eddie Kingston either, and that's Will Ospreay. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Will Ospreay intervene in this match on the side of Jericho Appreciation Society. And who knows, maybe you'll have some others jump in as well, because again, this is going to be the wild and crazy match, and so, if you want to do random run-ins, right, this is where you do them. Hardys versus Young Bucks. I expect this one to be the actual opener, right? Certainly not Jade Cargill, this is the opener. And I expect this match to be absolutely crazy. Jeff will jump off of things that he really shouldn't jump off of, and assuming that no one comes out with a serious concussion, this will probably be one of the best matches of the night. The build-up for it has been okay. I watch BTE. I like all of the little segments they do. I love the segments that the Hardys did about how all of these people have beaten them and they always got back up, right? That was absolutely hilarious. Great stuff. And I expect this match to just be solid and great. It does feel kind of inconsequential, doesn't it, right? It doesn't really matter which of these two teams is going to win here. It doesn't feel like it really does, right? It just is like, two teams that are very similar in a lot of ways going at it and giving us a great match. And, maybe that's okay. But if I had to pick, I would say that the Young Bucks are probably winning here, right? If only for out with the old, in with the new kind of thing, right? Because I feel that's the sort of theme of this match, and, I don't see the Hardys going on to become AEW World Champions. I mean, maybe they will. I don't know. They're the Hardys, right? I don't know what the plan is for those two, but I kind of get the feeling by the fact that they're talking about the delete stuff that Matt is getting ready to start seriously doing that stuff again, and bringing back the old broken Matt character and doing that business again. So if he's going to do that, then his character is going to change. That's a soft reset, so he doesn't need to win here in that particular case. So again, it'll be a great match, and I expect Young Bucks going to go over. MJF versus Wardlow. I mean, the only way this particular storyline can end is with Wardlow winning, right? I mean, there's not really anything else you can do, right? Because the stipulation is that if Wardlow loses, then he's out of AEW forever and ever, and MJF will just sort of lock him in a basement somewhere until his contract expires and, everyone has forgotten about him, right? So if you raise the stakes that high, right, I think it sort of is pretty clear that Wardlow is going to plow through MJF here. Probably after running through a whole bunch of cheating stuff that MJF is going to do during the match, and, in the end, good will triumph, and he'll be released from his contract and certainly be one of the, hottest baby faces in the company as a result. So good work to everyone involved there. So I really can't see this match going any other way, right? Unless there's some very out of left field swerve that someone's got in mind here, right? Wardlow sort of has to win this, right? There's no other way to do it, right? So, yeah, this match I think is probably the most straightforward out of all of the big matches on this pay-per-view, right? MJF is going to go down, rightfully so. We're going to see a billion power bombs on the guy. Everyone's going to be cheering for it. MJF will try something with the ring to cheat and win. Wardlow will kick out and everyone will be going crazy. And, finally he'll pin MJF and be free of this man once and for all. And, hopefully he can go and rescue the TNT title or something like that. Because I think Wardlow has got a bright future ahead of him. Then finally, our main event. Hangman Adam Page versus CM Punk. And this one, man, I could talk for 20 minutes on this one, because this one's a thinker. I am not 100% sure which way this is going to go. Now, I am a Hangman Adam Page fan, as you can see, but in terms of storytelling, right, in terms of the story that has been told coming into this match, I'm not sure who is supposed to be winning here, but what I do feel is that there's a story of CM Punk that has not been fully told. And my reason for thinking that is because of what the Hangman said in his promo on Dynamite last night. Let's listen.
You talk a big game about workers' rights, yeah? Well, you've shown the exact opposite since you've gotten here. I love this place. I care about this place. This is my home. And this Sunday at Double or Nothing, I will not be defending this championship against you. No, for the first time in my life, I will be defending all elite wrestling from you.
Great promo. Really great. I mean, Hangman's the best, right? That's why I wear his merchandise. But nevertheless, it's interesting, isn't it? Because he talks about CM Punk essentially being a fraud, right? A sort of phony, right? And, in terms of Punk's on-screen character, we've heard people accuse him of that before, particularly Eddie Kingston, right? During the Eddie Kingston CM Punk feud, right? Eddie was basically saying, you look down on me, you're not what you say you are, you're a snake, right? So that's what Eddie Kingston threw at CM Punk, and then of course CM Punk beat him and moved on. And Hangman here seems to be going down the same path, right? And I wonder if that's where this might be going. That, the wrestlers who are familiar with the CM Punk that isn't on screen, the CM Punk of backstage, know what he really is, but the fans don't, right? And Hangman Page, right, is sort of referring to it obliquely, right? But, obviously, we sort of, it feels like we as the audience are only getting half the story. And I kind of wonder if CM Punk is going to be the champion, and then we're going to see what Hangman and Eddie were talking about. Then we're perhaps going to see a CM Punk whose ego is out of control, who treats others as trash, and who just looks at himself as God's chosen one. I wonder if that's the direction we're going in. In that case, what it means is that the Hangman might not win, right? In fact, I hate to say it, but as of this recording, that's sort of where my expectations fall right now. Again, this one's very hard to really call because, quite frankly, Hangman is still early in his career and still early in his reign, and I think most of us would not really want to see him lose at this point. But if you look at the future, right? Okay, if Hangman beats CM Punk, who's his next natural challenger, right? I guess you could go with Moxley, right? But Moxley, shouldn't he be doing more Blackpool Combat Clubs things? Plus, I don't think Moxley's actually going to be around during summer. I think Moxley's going to be at the G1, right? So I don't think we're going to be seeing as much of Moxley during the July and August months, right? Unless, of course, you're watching New Japan, and quite frankly, everyone should be watching New Japan. So I'm not expecting a whole lot of Moxley over the summer. And where does Hangman go if he doesn't lose on Sunday, right? Hangman doesn't really have a no natural opponent. If Punk wins, well, first of all, you've got a very natural opponent ready to go on the Forbidden Door, right? And that is, of course, Kenta, right? Kenta, whose move Punk notoriously stole, right, once upon a time, right? So it's got to be Kenta when it comes to Punk's next opponent. After that, at All in hopefully Toronto next September, you could have Adam Page challenging him again after the audience sees Punk's true colors. And I think that would be pretty rad. You could also do Eddie Kingston in a similar vein, right? Or maybe another challenger. Maybe Kenny will be back by then. I don't know if we could put Kenny into that slot, but certainly Eddie or Hangman Adam Page could challenge CM Punk for the title at All In and put an end to his sort of reign of terror. And I think that would be quite fascinating. Those are my predictions. We'll see how right I am this Sunday. Feel free to leave a comment below if you disagree, and come back on Sunday and see how right I was. And hey, don't forget to like and subscribe.